The giant space station floated between the stars like a crystal palace. Inside, representatives from dozens of alien species gathered in the main council room. Some looked like giant insects, others were clouds of glowing gas, and some were creatures that humans could never have imagined. They all came to discuss important matters that affected the entire galaxy. Ambassador Velkoth stood at the center platform. He was a tall reptilian creature with 4 eyes and scales that shimmered under the lights. He held a data tablet in his clawed hands and looked at it with clear disgust. The other council members waited to hear what annoyed him so much. "Another request from the humans," Velkoth announced. His voice came through translation devices that everyone wore. "They want to join our council. They want to be treated as equals." Laughter filled the enormous chamber. It echoed off the crystal walls and made Velkoth smile with his sharp teeth showing. The humans were still new to space travel. They had only learned to travel faster than light 20 years ago. Most species in the council had been traveling the stars for thousands of years. "The humans are like children," said Counselor Thexera. She was a being made of tentacles and had no real face. "They still fight wars with metal bullets. They destroy their own planet with pollution. Why should we let them join us?" "Galactic law says we must at least listen to them," Velkoth replied. "So I suggest we invite them here. It will be entertaining, if nothing else. We can watch them embarrass themselves." The vote passed quickly. Everyone agreed it would be interesting to see what the humans had to say. 3 weeks later, a human ship arrived at the designated meeting point. The ship was small compared to the massive warships parked around the station. It was only 300 meters long with a simple gray hull. The name on the side read, USS Horizon. To the aliens watching, it looked weak and primitive. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. He was 42 years old with short brown hair that was turning gray at the temples. His blue uniform was crisp and clean. He had served in Earth's Navy for 20 years, but nothing prepared him for this moment. Next to him, Commander Lisa Hayes checked their approach vector for the 7th time. She was nervous, though she tried not to show it. "They are calling us, sir," said Lieutenant Paul Grant from the communication station. "They are laughing at us." "Put them on screen," Jake said calmly. Velkoth's face appeared on the view screen. His 4 eyes looked at the human ship with amusement. "Welcome, humans. Please dock at Base 7. Try not to crash into anything. Your ship looks very fragile." More laughter came through before the transmission ended. Lisa clenched her fists. "Sir, that was insulting." "I know," Jake replied quietly. "But we are not here to fight. We are here to talk. Take us in slowly. Show them we can follow directions." The Horizon glided into the massive docking bay. The ship looked tiny next to the alien cruisers. As the crew prepared to leave the ship, Jake gathered his team in the briefing room. "Remember why we are here," he said, looking at each person. "We represent all of humanity. They think we are primitive. Let them think that. Our job is to present Earth's case and get home safely. Lieutenant Karen Phillips, you handle cultural matters. Commander Hayes, you are with me. Everyone else stay alert and professional." The council chamber was even bigger on the inside. The human delegation stood on a small platform that rose from the floor. Alien counselors surrounded them on all sides. Their platforms towered over the humans. Jake felt very small, but he kept his face calm and confident. Velkoth opened the session. "The humans may now speak about why they want to join our council." Jake stepped forward. "Honored counselors, humanity comes here today with respect. We know we are young compared to you. Our technology is still developing. Our people still have conflicts and problems, but we believe we can offer something valuable to this council." "What could you possibly offer?" Thexera interrupted. "Entertainment?" More laughter filled the chamber. Jake did not react to the insult. "We offer perspective. Every species here was once young like us. You have forgotten what it is like to struggle and adapt. We can remind you. We can offer new solutions to old problems. We can prove we deserve to be here." "How?" Velkoth leaned forward. "Your species has been in space for less than 1 generation. You have no powerful military. You have no economic strength. You have no scientific discoveries that match ours. Why should we accept you?" Lisa stepped up beside Jake. "Because we survived ourselves. Every species here evolved past their violent phase. We did too. We reached the stars despite every reason to destroy ourselves first. That takes a special kind of strength." Velkoth's expression became cold. "Nice words. But the galaxy does not run on words alone. We need proof of capability. You have 1 month to complete a task we will give you. Succeed and we will consider your request. Fail, and you go home for another 100 years before trying again. Jake looked at Lisa. This was not what they expected. What kind of task? He asked carefully. Velkoth showed his sharp teeth in what might have been a smile. We will tell you soon. You are dismissed. Wait for our instructions. As the human delegation walked out of the chamber, Karen whispered to Jake, Sir, this feels like a trap. It probably is, Jake agreed quietly. But it is the only chance we have. We either play their game or we go home with nothing. Back on the horizon, the crew waited nervously. They had come so far, traveled so many light years. Now their fate depended on some test designed by aliens who clearly did not respect them. Jake sat in his quarters that night, looking at a picture of Earth on his wall. The blue and green planet looked so small and far away. He thought about all the people back home who were counting on him. Billions of humans who wanted to be part of the larger galactic community. He would not let them down. Whatever test the Council gave them, the horizon would pass it. They had to. The message arrived 6 days later. Jake read it twice before calling his officers to the briefing room. His face looked grim as they gathered around the table. They want us to do what? Lisa asked. She could not believe what she heard. Retrieve a data core from a place called the Broken Reach, Jake repeated. It is a debris field in the Karen sector. The Council says it contains historical records they need. Paul brought up a map on the main screen. Sir, the Broken Reach is in contested space. 3 different groups claim it. None of them are friendly to outsiders, plus the debris field itself is dangerous. There are hundreds of wrecked ships, radiation pockets, and pirates. Why can't the Council get it themselves? Karen asked. The official reason is they want to test us under pressure, Jake said. The real reason is they probably do not want to risk their own ships. This is a test, but it is also hazing. They hope we will fail or refuse. Can we actually do this? Lisa asked directly. Jake studied the map carefully. The horizon was built for exploration. She is fast and can maneuver well. Our sensors are good. If any Earth ship can navigate that mess, it is us. But it will be very dangerous. What about the pirates? Paul pressed. We will deal with them if we have to. Right now we need to accept this mission and prove we are serious. Jake stood up straight. Lisa, plot the best course to Karen's sector. Paul, prepare communication protocols in case we meet anyone out there. Karen, research everything about the Broken Reach. We leave in 12 hours. The journey took 4 days at maximum speed. The horizon cut through hyperspace smoothly. The crew worked quietly, but everyone felt tense. They knew this mission could end badly. On the 3rd day, Lisa found Jake in his quarters. He was staring at a photo of Earth. Missing home, sir? She asked. Thinking, he replied. About why we are really doing this. It is not just about Council membership. It is about proving we belong out here in space. That we are not just lucky primitives who stumbled onto faster-than-light travel. We are not, Lisa said firmly. I have read the histories. Every species went through this. The Zentrians were dismissed when they first made contact. The Thranics were called dangerous savages for 500 years. Everyone gets tested, but not everyone passes. We will. I have served with you for 8 years, Jake. I know what you can do. We all do. That is why we are here. Jake smiled slightly. When did you become so inspirational? Must be the space travel. She paused at the door. We are approaching the Karen sector. You should see this. The Broken Reach was both beautiful and terrifying. Thousands of wrecked ships tumbled slowly through space. Their broken hulls still caught the light from a distant red star. Some wrecks were recent with bright metal. Others were so ancient they barely looked like ships anymore. Sensors are picking up multiple energy signatures, Paul reported. Most are just old radiation from dead power cores. But there are a few active sources deeper in the field. Pirates? Jake asked, maybe, or salvagers. Hard to tell from here. Take us in slow. Keep our power signature low. Karen, what do we know about this data core we need to find? Karen looked at her tablet. It should be in a vault on a command ship from the Eridai civilization. They died out about 2,000 years ago. The ship should be twice our size, cylinder-shaped with modular sections. The vault will be in the central core with magnetic seals. That still leaves about 300 possible ships in this field, Lisa muttered. Actually, Paul said, I can narrow it down. The Eridai used a special alloy in their hulls. It has a unique radiation signature. Scanning for it now. Several tense minutes passed as the horizon weaved between debris. The helmsman navigated carefully, avoiding collisions. Finally, Paul's console beeped. Got it. Bearing 270, Mark 15. Distance 40,000 kilometers. It is wedged between two asteroids, partially collapsed but mostly intact. Jake studied the visual feed. The ancient ship looked like a broken toy. Its once proud hull was scarred and punctured, but it was there and they could reach it. All right. Lisa, take us to 500 meters and hold position. Paul, watch those active signatures. Karen, you are with me. We are going outside to get that core. The away team included Jake, Karen, and two security officers named Ben Carter and Amy Walsh. They put on their spacesuits in the airlock, checking each other's equipment carefully. Remember, Jake said over the suit radios, we are not here to explore. We get in, find the vault, take the core, and get out. 30 minutes maximum. The outside of the Erudite ship was like entering a tomb. Centuries of impacts had damaged the hull. The silence was complete except for their breathing. They entered through a breach in the port side, using magnetic boots to walk in zero gravity. The ship's corridors were huge and empty. They were designed for beings much larger than humans. Strange symbols covered the walls. Their meaning was lost to time. Karen scanned them with her device, recording everything. Central core should be straight ahead, she said, checking her map. About 200 meters. They moved in silence with their helmet lights cutting through the darkness. The ship groaned occasionally as metal settled. It reminded them this wreck was not stable. The vault was exactly where the coordinates said. It was a massive cylindrical chamber with walls covered in magnetic locks. In the center, suspended in a containment field that somehow still worked, was the data core. It was smaller than Jake expected, about the size of a basketball. It glowed faintly with internal light. That is it, Karen breathed. That is definitely erudite technology. The power source must sustain itself. Can we extract it? Jake asked. Give me 5 minutes. Karen approached the containment field with tools from her pack. Ben and Amy watched the corridor behind them. Jake monitored the time, conscious of every passing second. 4 minutes later, Karen shut down the field. The data core stayed suspended for a moment, then slowly drifted down. She caught it carefully and secured it in a reinforced container. Got it. Let's go. They were halfway back to the breach when Paul's voice came over the radio. Captain, we have a problem. 3 ships just appeared at the edge of the field. They are broadcasting in Rithian. It is a pirate clan. Are they coming for us? Jake asked, moving faster. Not yet, but they definitely detected us. They will reach our position in 7 minutes if they come straight here. We will be back in 5. Warm up the engines. The moment we are on board, leave immediately. They came out of the wreck and pushed toward the horizon using their suit thrusters. The ship waited ahead with her airlock already open. They were almost there when the first pirate vessel appeared, coming around a piece of debris. It was a predatory-looking ship, all angles and weapons. It was easily 3 times the horizon size. They are calling us, Paul reported. Put them through, Jake said, pulling himself into the airlock. A harsh voice filled the channel. Unknown vessel. You are in Rithian territory. Surrender your cargo and your ship will be spared. Lisa's voice cut in. Captain is back. Closing airlock now. Jake sealed his helmet and hit the communications button. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth vessel Horizon. We are on a diplomatic mission approved by the Galactic Council. We claim no salvage rights except one historical item. We are leaving peacefully. Laughter echoed through the speakers. Humans, we have heard of you, weak, frightened, easy prey. Prepare to be boarded. Jake felt cold anger settle in his chest. He had heard that tone before from bullies throughout his career. It never ended well for them. He strode onto the bridge. Paul, are they powering weapons? Yes, sir. Multiple energy signatures. They are trying to lock onto us. Lisa, what is our tactical situation? 3 hostiles, cruiser class. We are faster and more agile, but they have us outgunned 20 to 1. I recommend immediate withdrawal. Agreed. Helm, get us out of here. Full speed. Best course out of the debris field. The Horizon's engines flared and the ship leaped forward. Behind them, the pirate vessels gave chase, firing energy weapons that missed and hit debris around them. They are pursuing, Paul confirmed, and calling for reinforcements. 2 more ships coming. Can we outrun them? Jake asked. In open space, yes, but we have to clear the field first. And they know these routes better than we do. Jake made a decision. Lisa, I need you to do something dangerous. She looked at him. How dangerous? Remember that asteroid belt near Titan? When we flew through it at high speed in the simulator? Her eyes widened. Sir, that was a simulation. And this field has much more debris. I know. Can you do it? A slow smile spread across her face. Strap in, everyone. This will be interesting. The horizon turned sharply and dove toward a cluster of wrecked ships. They were packed so densely they looked like a solid wall. Lisa's hands moved across her controls faster than the computer could calculate. She was finding paths through the debris that should not exist. They are still following, Paul reported. His voice was tight with tension. 5 ships now. They are spreading out and trying to cut off our escape routes. Jake watched the tactical display with calm focus, even though his heart pounded. The pirates were boxing them in. They used their numbers and knowledge of the field to maximum advantage. In a straight fight, the horizon would last maybe 30 seconds. But Jake had not survived 20 years in space by fighting straight. Karen, he called over the intercom. What do we know about Rithian thinking? Her voice came back quickly. They are pack hunters like wolves. They respect strength and dominance. Showing weakness or fear makes them attack harder. They usually avoid targets that seem too difficult or dangerous. So if we hurt them badly, they might back off? Maybe. But we would have to hurt them enough to make chasing us seem unprofitable. Jake nodded. Paul, open a channel to all frequencies. Channel open, sir. Jake spoke clearly with command in his voice. Rithian vessels, this is your final warning. Stop pursuing us immediately or face consequences. More laughter came through the speakers. Consequences? From a human science vessel? You amuse us. Perhaps we will keep you alive for entertainment. Your choice. Jake nodded to Lisa. Now. The horizon suddenly reversed thrust and stopped almost instantly. The lead pirate ship could not react in time and shot past them. In that moment of confusion, Lisa fired the ship's tractor beam. But she did not aim at the pirate vessel. She aimed at a massive piece of debris directly in its path. The ancient hull plate was easily 500 tons of twisted metal. It accelerated into the pirate ship's trajectory. The collision was spectacular. The pirate vessel's shields flared bright, overloaded, and collapsed. The debris tore through its side and sent it spinning out of control. One down, Lisa said grimly. She was already accelerating again. 4 to go. The pirate communications exploded with angry sounds. The remaining ships split up. 2 kept chasing the horizon while 2 moved to help their damaged companion. They are pulling back slightly, Paul observed, reassessing the situation. Good, Jake said. But we are not done. Lisa, take us through Sector 7 Delta, the one with the unstable radiation pockets. Sir, that is insane. Our shields can handle it, but if we miscalculate by even a little bit... Trust me. Lisa's jaw tightened. Course set. The horizon plunged into a region of space where reality seemed to shimmer and bend. Radiation from decaying power cores created pockets of intense energy. They could fry unshielded electronics in seconds. Lisa threaded through them like a needle through cloth. Her piloting was so precise that the proximity alarms barely had time to sound warnings. The 2 pursuing pirates tried to follow. The first made it through 3 pockets before its shields failed. The pilot panicked and tried to reverse course. The ship clipped a derelict vessel and started tumbling. The second pirate ship saw what happened to its companion and broke off pursuit entirely. We are clear of the field, Paul announced. No pursuit? The remaining pirate ships are holding their position. Jake let out a breath he had been holding. Well done, everyone. Lisa, that was some of the best piloting I've ever seen. She flexed her hands. They were shaking slightly. Thank you, sir. I would prefer not to do it again anytime soon. Agreed. Paul, any damage to our ship? Minor stress to the hull plating. Nothing critical. And we still have the data core safe and secure. Then I would say this mission is a success. Plot a course back to Council space. Standard speed. Let's not push our luck any further. The journey back took 5 days. During that time, Jake wrote detailed reports of everything that happened. The data core stayed in secure storage. Its secrets were locked behind encryption that would take Earth's best scientists years to crack. On the final approach to the Council station, Jake gathered his senior officers one last time. When we present this to the Council, he said, they will ask questions. How we got it. What we encountered. How we handled ourselves. I want everyone to be completely honest. We did not start that fight, but we finished it. That is nothing to be ashamed of. Do you think it will be enough? Karen asked. I do not know, but it is what we have to offer. The council chamber felt less threatening this time. Jake carried the data core container himself and placed it on the designated platform. Velkoth examined it with his scanning device. Then he looked up with an expression that might have been surprise. This is authentic, he said slowly. You actually retrieved it? We did, Jake confirmed. Despite interference from Rithian pirates, we defended ourselves, completed the mission, and returned with no casualties and minimal damage. Murmuring rippled through the council chamber. Thexara leaned forward with her tentacles unusually still. You fought Rithian raiders? She asked. How many ships? 5 vessels, cruiser class. We disabled one and forced the others to withdraw. Impossible, Velkoth snapped. Your ship is barely armed. Rithian cruisers are among the most aggressive pirates in this sector. They do not retreat from anyone. With respect, Counselor, they do retreat if you make pursuing you more trouble than it is worth. Jake gestured to Paul, who brought up the tactical logs on the main display. We used superior maneuverability and knowledge of environmental hazards to even the odds. We did not seek conflict, but we did not run from it either. The council watched the footage in complete silence. Jake saw several counselors exchange glances. Some looked impressed. Others looked skeptical. This changes nothing, Velkoth finally said. You completed one mission. That hardly qualifies you for membership. Then what would qualify us? Lisa asked, stepping forward. How many tests do we have to pass before you take us seriously? That is not your concern. It absolutely is our concern, Jake interrupted. You sent us into danger as a test, fine. We passed. But if there is no real path to membership, if you are just wasting our time, then this council is not what you claim to be. You are just an exclusive club that keeps newcomers out because it is easier than adapting to change. The chamber fell completely silent. Jake realized he might have just ended Earth's chances at membership. But he was beyond caring about politics. If they could not respect what humanity had accomplished, then maybe the council was not worth joining. Then from a platform in the upper tier, a new voice spoke. It was melodious and musical. It carried an authority that made even Velkoth pause and listen. The human speaks truth. All eyes turned to the speaker. Jake recognized the species from his briefings. It was Illumine, one of the oldest and most respected races in the galaxy. Their civilization was millions of years old. Elder Corlin, Velkoth said with a slight bow. With respect, the humans have done what many established members could not, Corlin interrupted smoothly. They faced danger with courage and creativity. They defended themselves without excessive violence. And they speak to us with honesty, not false politeness meant to curry favor. These are qualities we should encourage, not dismiss out of hand. But their technology is still primitive, will advance with time, as will their society. The question before us is not whether they are perfect now. The question is whether they have the potential to contribute to our community in meaningful ways. I believe they do. Velkoth looked like he wanted to argue further, but challenging an elder was a serious breach of protocol. Instead, he turned back to Jake. Very well. The council will deliberate on your petition. You will have our decision within 3 standard days. You are dismissed for now. As the human delegation left the chamber, Karen whispered to Jake, Did we just make a powerful ally? Maybe, Jake replied quietly. Or maybe the elder just did not like Velkoth's attitude. Either way, we did our job. Now we wait and see what happens. Back on the horizon, the crew tried to relax, but it was difficult. 3 days felt like 3 years. Their entire mission, everything they had worked for, now depended on the vote of alien beings they barely understood. Jake spent the time reviewing reports and training with his crew. He tried not to think about the weight of billions of people's hopes resting on his shoulders. But late at night in his quarters, staring at that picture of Earth, he could not help but wonder. Had they done enough? Would humanity finally be accepted as equals among the stars? Or would they be sent home to wait another century before trying again? The answer would come soon. The 3 days of waiting felt endless. The horizon remained docked at the council station while deliberations continued inside. The crew was confined to the ship, which made the wait even harder. Jake used the time to review mission reports and train with his crew. He tried not to think about what failure would mean for Earth. On the second day, Paul approached him with an unusual expression on his face. Sir, we are receiving a lot of communication traffic. Not official messages, unofficial channels and gossip networks. About us? Jake asked. About the horizon specifically. Apparently word of our fight with the Rithians has spread throughout the station. Some of the other ships docked here are calling us something interesting. What are they calling us? The dangerous ship. Jake blinked in surprise. Dangerous, us? They are impressed, sir. Apparently taking on 5 Rithian cruisers and winning is the kind of thing that builds a reputation. There is even a betting pool on whether we will be admitted to the council. What are the current odds? 3-1 in our favor, up from 20-1 2 days ago. Jake could not help but smile slightly. Well, at least someone has faith in us. The summons came early on the 3rd day. Once again, Jake and his senior staff entered the council chamber. But this time the atmosphere felt different. Less hostile and more cautious. The humans were no longer dismissible primitives. They were an unknown quantity, and that made them interesting. Belkoth stood at the central podium. His expression was carefully neutral. The council has reached a decision regarding the human petition, he announced formally. After considerable debate and review of your performance during the test mission, we have determined that humanity demonstrates sufficient capability for associate membership. Jake felt a surge of relief wash through him. But Velkoth was not finished speaking. However, there are conditions. Earth will be granted a trial membership lasting 5 standard years. During this time, you will have limited voting rights and will be subject to additional oversight. You will also be required to establish a permanent diplomatic presence at this station, and you must contribute to council security operations. Security operations? Lisa asked carefully. Patrols, convoy escorts, anti-piracy missions. The galaxy is vast and dangers are many. If humanity wishes to join our community, you must help protect it. You must prove your commitment through action, not just words. Jake considered this carefully. It was more than they had hoped for at the start. But it was still less than full acceptance. They would be members, but not equals. Not yet, still it was a foot in the door. A chance to prove themselves over time. We accept the council's terms, he said formally. Then it is decided. Welcome to the Galactic Council, humans. Probationary though your status may be. Applause rippled through the chamber. It was polite but seemed genuine. Jake bowed respectfully and then led his delegation out. Once they were safely back on the horizon, the professional composure cracked slightly. We actually did it, Karen said quietly. We really did it. We did, Jake agreed. But this is just the beginning. Now comes the hard part. We have to prove we deserve to stay. The news reached Earth within hours through the hyperspace relay network. The entire planet erupted in celebration. Humanity was no longer alone in the cosmos. They had a seat at the galactic table, even if it was a small seat for now. News broadcasts showed people dancing in the streets of every major city, but not everyone was celebrating. 2 days after the decision was announced, Elder Corlin requested a private meeting with Jake. They met in a small observation lounge overlooking the station's main hub. Ships of all sizes came and went through the massive docking bays below. Captain Morrison, the Elder began. Her luminous form pulsed with soft light. I wanted to speak with you personally before you return to Earth. I am honored, Elder. May I ask why? Because you need to understand what you have truly accomplished, and what challenges still lie ahead of you. She gestured toward the viewport where dozens of alien ships moved in organized patterns. The Council may have accepted humanity, but many of its members did so very reluctantly. Felkoth, for example, voted against you. So did 14 other counselors. But we passed their test with high marks. You exceeded their test, which is precisely why you succeeded despite the opposition. But now you face something perhaps more difficult. You are under constant scrutiny. Every action Earth takes will be examined closely, criticized harshly, and judged more strictly than those of established members. Some counselors will actively try to make you fail. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Then why help us? Why speak up in the chamber when you did? Corlin turned to face him directly. Her glow brightened slightly. Because the Council has grown stagnant over the millennia. We have become comfortable and predictable. Most new members are species that have already adopted our ways of thinking. They add little that is truly new or challenging. But humanity is different in important ways. Different how? You still remember how to adapt quickly? How to fight when absolutely necessary? How to think creatively under extreme pressure? These are qualities the Council has slowly lost over thousands of years. We need species like yours to remind us why we formed this alliance in the first place. Not to create an exclusive club, but to ensure that no species faces the darkness and dangers of space alone. Jake absorbed this information carefully. What should we do going forward? Be yourselves. Not what you think we want you to be, but what you truly are. Humanity's real strength does not lie in matching our technology or copying our cultures. It lies in bringing your own unique perspective to problems. That is what will earn you true membership over time, not just probationary status. And what about those counselors who want us to fail? Corlin's form brightened in what Jake interpreted as a smile. Prove them wrong, as you have already begun to do quite effectively. The meeting ended shortly after. Jake returned to the horizon with much to think about. He found his crew preparing the ship for departure. "We have new orders," Lisa informed him. "Our first official mission as associate members. We are assigned to convoy escort duty through the Kranix corridor. Standard anti-piracy patrol. When do we leave?" 6 hours. The convoy is assembling now. 23 freighters with 4 escort vessels, including us. The Zentrian military is leading the entire mission. Jake felt his stomach tighten with tension. Of course they are. Who is in command of the escorts? Commander Thalrek. He is Velkoth's nephew. Wonderful. So our very first mission is working directly under someone whose uncle tried hard to keep us out of the council. Basically, yes. Lisa paused and looked at him. Sir, do you think this is another test? Everything is a test, Lisa, everything. The question is whether we pass or fail each one. And I fully intend to pass this one too. The convoy assembled in standard formation. Freighters stayed in the center for protection. Escorts took positions at the cardinal points around them. The horizon was assigned to take position at the rear. It was the least prestigious spot, but also the most vulnerable to surprise attacks from behind. Jake suspected that assignment was very intentional. Commander Thalrek broadcast the mission briefing over the fleet communication channel. His voice was similar to Velkoth's, cold and commanding with an undertone of superiority. All vessels, we will proceed through the Kranix corridor at standard commercial speed. Maintain formation at all times. Escorts will engage any threats immediately. The human vessel will observe and provide support only if specifically requested. Is that understood by everyone? Understood, Jake replied. He kept his voice completely neutral and professional. The convoy entered hyperspace smoothly. The stars stretched into lines of light. The journey through the corridor would take 18 hours at their current speed. Jake settled into the command chair, expecting a long and probably boring mission. Was completely wrong about that. They were 12 hours into the journey when Paul's console suddenly lit up with warning. Indicators, contact, he announced sharply. Multiple hyperspace signatures directly ahead of us. At least 20 vessels dropping into normal space right in our path. Identify them immediately, Jake ordered. Scanning now. Confirmed Rethian signatures. It is a raiding fleet, sir. A very big one. On the fleet communication channel, Thalrek's voice barked urgent orders. All ships combat formation now. Escorts move to the front. Freighters maximum speed break for the edge of the corridor. The convoy exploded into chaotic motion. The heavy, slow freighters tried to scatter in different directions. The 3 Zentrian escort ships moved forward to engage the raiders. The horizon remained at the rear, watching the tactical display with growing concern and dread. That is too many enemies, Lisa said quietly. 20 raiders against only 3 escorts? Those are terrible odds. Jake watched as the Zentrian ships opened fire. Their weapons blazed brightly. The Rithian raiders responded with their own weapons. Space lit up with energy beams and missile trails, creating a deadly light show. 2 freighters took direct hits and their shields collapsed. One began venting atmosphere into space. Thalrek is trying to draw the raiders away from the convoy, Paul observed carefully. But they are not taking the bait. Half the raiders are ignoring the escorts completely and going straight for the vulnerable freighters. The Horizon's weapons were not designed for ship-to-ship combat. They were primarily defensive, meant for shooting down missiles and small threats, but at close range with precision targeting, they could still cause real damage. The first raider took a direct hit to its engines and began spinning out of control, trailing sparks and gas. 2 more raiders breaking from the main pack, Paul warned. They are coming straight for us now. Good. That means 2 fewer targeting helpless freighters. Lisa, evasive pattern Delta. The Horizon danced through space. Her smaller size and superior maneuverability made her a very difficult target to hit. The raiders fired continuously, but most of their shots went wide, missing by dozens of meters. Meanwhile, the frightened freighters were beginning to cluster around the human ship. using it as a mobile shield against the attacking pirates. This is completely insane, Karen muttered while monitoring the shields. We are taking multiple hits, but the shields are holding. Barely. On the fleet communication channel, Thalrek's voice was absolutely livid. Horizon, you are in direct violation of my orders. Break off your attack immediately. That is a direct command. Jake ignored him completely. Paul, what is the current situation with the Zentrian escorts? They are heavily engaged with the main raider force, holding their own but taking serious damage. Wait, sir, 3 more raider ships are breaking off from that fight and heading straight for us. They have identified us as a significant threat now, or as an opportunity, Lisa said grimly. We must look like easy pickings to them. A small ship all alone protecting the weak. Jake studied the tactical display with intense focus. 5 raiders were now focused entirely on the horizon. More were potentially coming. The freighters were temporarily safe, huddled in the horizon shadow. But that would not last long at all if the ship went down under concentrated fire. Anyone have ideas? He asked his crew. We could run, Lisa suggested. Lead them away from the convoy entirely. That leaves all the freighters completely exposed to the other raiders. We could call for help from the escorts. From Thalrek? He wants us to fail this test. He will not help. Karen suddenly spoke up with excitement in her voice. Sir, I have an idea. It is crazy, but it just might work if we are lucky. I am listening carefully. The raiders are predators by nature, right? They attack what looks weak and avoid what looks truly dangerous. We made ourselves look weak by trying to defend the freighters. What if we do the exact opposite now? Jake understood immediately what she meant. Make ourselves look extremely dangerous instead. Exactly right. Show them very clearly we are not prey animals. How do we do that convincingly? Karen smiled with confidence. The same way we did in the Broken Reach debris field. Make them genuinely think attacking us is a terrible investment of their time and lives. Jake felt a plan forming rapidly in his mind. Paul, open a communication channel. Target all Rithian ships on all frequencies. Channel open, sir. Jake spoke with cold absolute authority. Rithian raiders, this is the Earth vessel Horizon. You may recognize us from the Broken Reach incident several weeks ago. We are the ship that disabled your entire cruiser squadron there. We are giving you one single chance to withdraw right now. Leave immediately, or learn firsthand why others call us the dangerous ship. Silence filled the channel for several long seconds. Then harsh laughter came from multiple raiders. The dangerous ship? One of them transmitted with mockery clear in his tone. We have heard those stories. They are just propaganda from a primitive species trying to seem more important than they are. Then allow me to educate you properly, Jake replied calmly. He nodded to Lisa. Target the closest raider. Full power to weapons. Don't just disable it. Destroy it completely. Lisa's hands flew across her console. Sir, we simply don't have the firepower to... We don't need to actually destroy it. We just need to make it look like we easily can. She understood the deception immediately. The Horizon's weapons fired in a concentrated barrage, but the target was not the raiders' shields. It was a piece of space debris floating directly between them. The debris was a chunk of ice from some ancient comet. It exploded spectacularly when hit. The expanding cloud of ice crystals caught the light from nearby stars, creating a brilliant blinding flash that filled the sensors of every ship in the immediate area. In the confusion and temporary sensor blindness, Lisa fired again. This time at the actual raider. The shot hit its already weakened shields at the worst possible moment. The timing made it look exactly like the Horizon had fired some kind of devastating unknown weapon. The targeted raider panicked completely and veered away at maximum speed. Jake spoke again with absolute confidence in his voice. That was merely a warning shot. The next one will not miss its target. I strongly suggest you reconsider your current life choices very carefully. For a long, tense moment, absolutely nothing happened. The battle seemed to freeze in place. Then slowly, one by one, the raiders targeting the Horizon began to withdraw. They did not flee the area entirely, but they disengaged from the human ship, focusing instead on what they perceived as easier targets among the Zentrian escorts. It actually worked, Paul said with clear disbelief in his voice. They genuinely bought it. They bought that we are significantly more trouble than we are worth, Jake corrected. Which is true enough. Lisa, keep us positioned between the freighters and any raiders who get too close. We are not finished with this fight yet. The battle continued raging for another 20 brutal minutes. The Zentrian escorts, finally freed from having to protect the scattered panicking freighters, formed up into a tight formation. They drove into the raider fleet with renewed aggressive tactics. The raiders, already spooked by the Horizon's mysterious display, and now facing much more determined resistance than expected, began to withdraw gradually. When the very last raider ship jumped away into hyperspace, an eerie silence fell over the entire convoy. Jake carefully surveyed the damage report. 3 freighters were heavily damaged, but could be salvaged and repaired. 1 escort had severe hull breaches and was venting atmosphere. The Horizon's shields were down to barely 20% capacity, and they had minor structural damage throughout the ship. But they had survived against terrible odds. All ships, report your current status, Thalrek commanded over the fleet channel. His voice sounded strained and exhausted. One by one, the vessels checked in with damage reports. When it came to the Horizon's turn, Jake kept his report brief and completely professional. Horizon reporting. Shields at low capacity. Minor damage to hull sections 3 and 7. All crew members accounted for and uninjured. Ready to continue escort duty as assigned. A very long pause followed. Then Thalrek spoke again. Horizon, you directly and deliberately violated my explicit orders during combat. Yes, Commander. I did. You broke formation and endangered the convoy with completely unauthorized maneuvers. I prevented the massacre of 17 freighter crews who would certainly have died. Otherwise, another long pause. Jake could almost hear Thalrek's teeth grinding together in anger. When we return to the station, you will face formal disciplinary proceedings for your actions. Until then, resume your originally assigned position at the rear. Understood clearly. Horizon out. Lisa looked at Jake with concern. Sir, you just threw away everything we worked so hard for. Maybe I did, Jake replied quietly. Or maybe I just proved what humanity truly stands for when it matters most. Either way, those freighter crews are alive right now. That is what really matters to me. The damaged convoy limped slowly back to the council station. News of the engagement spread quickly through unofficial channels and gossip networks. By the time they finally docked, a large crowd had gathered. Representatives from dozens of different species watched as the damaged ships came in one by one. Jake was immediately escorted directly to the council chamber. He was still wearing his uniform with visible burn marks from a minor electrical fire on the bridge. Thalrek stood at the central podium with his expression absolutely thunderous. Captain Jake Morrison, he began with harsh formality, you are formally charged with insubordination, deliberate violation of command protocols, and recklessly endangering a council convoy. How do you plead to these serious charges? Guilty on all counts, Jake said calmly and clearly. I broke formation, ignored direct orders, and put my ship in significant harm's way. I would do it again without hesitation. Surprised murmurs rippled through the assembled chamber. You openly admit your guilt? Felkoth asked, stepping forward with clear satisfaction. I admit I disobeyed orders, but I did so to save innocent lives. Commander Thalrek's tactics were perfectly sound for a standard military engagement. But they were completely useless against pirates who ignore all formation rules. The freighters were being systematically slaughtered. I could not stand by and watch that happen. Orders exist for important reasons, Thalrek growled. Discipline maintains unit cohesion. Without it, only chaos reigns. And without flexibility and adaptation, doctrine becomes rigid dogma that gets people killed. Jake countered firmly. I have great respect for your experience, Commander. But sometimes the tactical situation demands immediate adaptation to circumstances. Before Thalrek could respond angrily, a new voice spoke from the crowd.